All right, this is everything that was shipped to me for the month of March 2021. Um, Kicking it off the top, X-Men Legends number 2. This is not part of the Hickman X-Men stuff. These are all just side stories that take place in the X-Men continuity of the 90s. So I'm going to cancel getting this book because while I'm familiar with some of these characters like Cyclops and his brother Havoc, I think this is Adam X and I don't really know who that is. So uh, cutting down on the book. You'll be happy with that one, Andre. That's not part of the main X-Men stuff, so it's just at the top, and then we'll get the X-Men stuff later. But moving on to Young Hellboy, really digging this series. It is tying into some of the old Hellboy lore, which is really nice. And yeah, Mike Mignola is writing it, obviously, which is great. He's like semi-retired. Wish he would do more art, but we'll see. Moving on, Black Hammer Visions, another Black Hammer series. This one's 8 issues. The other ones were 5, so we're going to continue on. I think this will end, and then the new Black Hammer main book will start. But each of these issues is just a story of one of the characters. So the first one was about the little girl. I can't remember her name right now. This one's about Lady Dragonfly, and somebody happens to stumble into her cabin while they're running from somebody. So that'd be really cool. Should be really good because Scott Collins, he's got a really cool vibe for like kind of horror stuff, which is good. Jeff Johns writing it. I'm kind of here there, Jeff Johns. So Barbalian, Red Planet, last issue. I've really enjoyed this series. It's been fun. It's been cool. Nice little take on like, gay superheroes. And it takes place in a time when like in the 80s when like AIDS was on the rise and stuff. So it's been really interesting. Kind of curious how it ends because this story takes place before the events of Black Hammer, the main book, before, spoiler, everything is destroyed. Captain America Anniversary Tribute. I'll pick up any Anniversary Tribute for Captain America, Spider-Man, Silver Surfer, like any of my favorite Marvel characters, so this would be cool. I think this has a cool story that's like all the Captain Americas, but I might be wrong. Like, Captain Falcon, Bucky Cap, Cap, John Walker Cap. Most likely it's kind of oversized. You can kind of see that, so it's going to probably be a lot of just reprints. It'll probably have like the first Captain America story, which would make it probably like the 20th time I've had that story reprinted and sitting in my collection because I've read a lot of Captain America over the years. Moving on to the Goon. You know how I feel about Eric Powell. He's back writing and drawing this. Old villain Dr. Alloy shows up. This should be fun. Dr. Alloy is actually from like the original, like the first one of the Goon comics from even before he was being printed at Dark Horse, before Albatross books was really a thing. So that's pretty cool. Moving on, new series, Carmen, issue number 1. This is done by Guillaume March. He writes, he draws. He's a French guy. Draws pretty ladies. He did some work at DC on Catwoman on the new 52 era, which kind of got judged for its over sexiness. So we'll see. This is supposed to be a horror book, so I'm curious. But I love anything I can get that's from like European creators because you just don't get a lot of it. So I try and support as much as I can. So hopefully we get more. So I'm actually looking just forward to that in general. New book, Lady Baltimore. Don't worry, it's only a mini. No need to panic. This is a sequel to Lord Baltimore, which I'm sure you remember because I bought a lot of Lord Baltimore. So this is just a character. She survived the events of Lord Baltimore, but she's carrying on the tradition of being a demon hunter. That's what Lord Baltimore ended up being. What I label this is kind of like spooky horror stuff from like the 1916s. It's after World War One. So I'm looking forward to that. Hey, you'll recognize this book because you're asking me about it. Berserker number 1. What is Berserker? We'll find out. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is just what if Wolverine and John Wick had a love child. You also asked about Raphael Grumpa. He did the cover for this. So Raphael Grumpa, I'm probably pronouncing his name incorrectly, did the cover. I wish he did the art inside. That would be awesome. We could use more of his art. Just in general. Demon Days X-Men. I'm not sure if this ties into the Hickman stuff or not, because when I was organizing the Hickman X-Men books by the reading order they print in the back, one of the issues did call this out, but I'm pretty sure this is a completely separate series. I only actually picked this up because of this Peach Momoko. Her name is just popping up everywhere. Every day it seems like I'm hearing Peach Momoko. She's doing covers for this. She's doing a cover for that. So she signed an exclusive deal with Marvel. This is her first book, Demon Days. It's going to tie into it's like its own little miniseries. So I figured just check it out. Let's see what the hype's all about. She's actually writing and drawing this too, so should be cool. Jonah and the Impossible Monsters number 1. This is a new ongoing, and I've been really looking forward to this. It's by Chris Samney and his wife. I want to say Laura. I'm probably wrong there. But Chris Samney I love. He helped relaunch Daredevil so a few years ago, and one of my favorite Daredevil runs because Daredevil wasn't all sad and depressed all the time. He was like upbeat and things were looking good and it was great and fun. But his art was fantastic. So I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's doing kind of a career on book, and it's all ages. So yeah, I've got a few all ages books, and I wish there was more all ages stuff because it's just really fun and lighthearted, and there's like life lessons that you learn because it's aimed at kids. You want to make sure they turn out good when they grow up. On the other end of the spectrum, though, scumbag. So from all ages to probably wouldn't want to share this with kids. I would because, well, you know me, but I do recognize her this month, though. Bengal, new issue, new artist. Every issue is a new artist, sorry. So Bengal's actually worked with Remender before on another miniseries, but this should be good. I'm looking forward to this issue, too. Beta Ray Bill. This is a mini, it's a new series. The main reason I picked this up, though, other than being Beta Ray Bill, who's awesome, is Daniel Warren Johnson, who I really, really like. He only works on stuff that he can both write and draw, and the two books I've currently read by him have been fantastic. Murder Falcon, which is just as good as the name implies, and a Wonder Woman book called Dead Earth, which is really good. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'll definitely rebuy this as a trade as well. I just didn't want to wait for this till then, really. Usagi Yojimbo, still loving this book as always, as I say every month. It was funny when I saw the solicitations for this last month. I was like, oh, this cover looks like Frank Frazetta, and it totally is like after Frank Frazetta, so that's cool. Respect to the masters. But yeah, he's actually fighting more demons in this, so this is actually really fun. So each Usagi Yojimbo story is fun. This actually would count as an all ages book because there's like violence, there's no blood or cursing or anything like that. So yeah, I'd say Usagi's all ages too. Decorum. Every month I get into Decorum, and I tell you every month this book is insane. I tell you about the art, this cover, man. Just look at this cover. If I was in a comic shop, just minding my own business, sitting at the racks by the new books, and I saw this, I would just pick it up. Be like, what is this? But yeah, I'm gonna definitely rebuy this as like a giant, huge special edition. I hope there's tons of special features, and I really hope that this artist Mike Huddleston just keeps doing more stuff after this book is done because he's been awesome. This is another book I've been waiting for. There's actually a lot of books this month I was like really looking forward to getting. This is one of them. Orphan the Five Beasts, James Stokoe. All say this guy knows how to draw. I'm so excited. I'm actually getting giddy just thinking about this. Might be kind of hard to tell, but man, his attention to detail is awesome. I love his coloring, his inks. Like he does the whole thing himself. It's just awesome. This is like a Shaw Brothers kung fu story basically. So awesome, so good. It's gonna be so good. Eternals, seriously, still doing really good. Usually by this point, I'm like halfway. You know my 6-issue rule. I'll give any book 6 issues. By the third one, you're kind of like, okay, I got a feeling I'm going to stick after 6 or not. I'll stick around after 6. I'm really digging this story. And of course, the art's been really good because I love Isribik. This is another book I'm really looking forward to, Ultra Mega. Did not expect. This is a bit of a thick one. Might be hard to see there, but that's a nice thick issue. I hope every issue's like that. Maybe it's just the first one, but written drawn by James Harren. It's basically like kaiju on steroids. So these 3 dudes, they form into Ultra Mega, and Ultra Mega fights monsters. So he kind of had me at kaiju, and James Harren's like, it's like a dark kaiju. I was like, I'm there. I'm in. I'm sure I'm gonna love that. Moving on to just the normal X-Men books. There's less X-Men than there are main books this month, which is you would find troubling, but it's fine. It's a big month. Hellions, they're gonna fight Arcade, an Arcade of Death, classic X-Men villain. I'm actually really looking forward to this book. This book is just like something I don't think I would like, but I really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to fighting Arcade. It's gonna be so much fun. Children of the Atom, a new X-Men book. This was supposed to come out like a year ago, honestly, before COVID and things kind of slowed down in the industry. Got some slack when they first announced this book because it was kind of seen as like a woke version of the X-Men potentially. I don't know too much. I know that these are all kids who have X-Men. You have like a person copying Gambit. You got your Cyclops. You got your Nightcrawler. You got your Jean Grey. You got your Angel. Are they mutants? Are they not mutants? I don't know. We'll find out. So I'm sure this will last like 6 issues like some of the other X-Men books that have been like come and gone. X-Factor, still fun. No major complaints. Still digging it. So yeah, all good. Sword, another tie-in to King in Black, issue 4. I really just want this book to not be a tie-in to King in Black. It's like, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating because there's like maybe 2 4 pages that are like hinting at larger X-Men stuff and setting up what is probably going to be what this book is actually about. But then it just ties in, it just goes off in this King of Black stuff. So I'm pretty sure this is the last one. I don't know. I said last month I was hoping it was the last one, so probably be disappointed next month as well. X-Force, still digging this book, man. Still in the best X-Men book. You got Quentin Quire. Kid Omega's got a new costume. He's freaking out. As I've been saying, he's really starting to be affected by dying all the time. So this is really cool. Looking forward to this one. Cable, he's on a date. Emma Frost is there. She's not happy because he's technically dating who she sees as her daughters. I don't think the Steph Rukakus are her actual daughters. I'll have to double check that, but it should be a fun book. This book's actually getting canceled. Not canceled, but it's coming to an end. Issue 12 is the last one, so I'm curious. There's some little side sections in these books where they're showing like Old Man Cable. So I'm curious if Old Man Cable is going to return and Kid Cable will go away. I like Kid Cable. Really, I can go either way. Cable's a time traveler, so it makes sense if he's young or he's old. Doesn't matter. Excalibur, this is, Betsy's back. She disappeared for a while after X of Swords. Psylocke is there. They're going to fight, then realize they're friends, and all is well in the world, so that'll be good. And then the Money X-Men book, X-Men by Hickman. This is going to be a good issue. This is continuing the craziness from the last issue, where I incorrectly said they're going into the world, which was created by, like with Phantom X. It's actually a place, they're actually going into, I forget what it's called, but it's basically the same idea, but created by the evil Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe. So even creators of super science. These are all the like protectors that live there that are sent out to defend it. So they're fighting X-23 Wolverine, Darwin, and Mimic, Tempo. I can't remember. I think it's Mimic. But yeah, again, this is like, of all the X-Men stuff, this is like the cherry at the end of the cake. The end of the meal. You have like a mediocre like 4-course meal, and you get this dessert, and you're like, mwah. This is exactly why we pay the money to come to this restaurant every time. And that's all of them. It's a pretty fat stack this month. Looking forward to it. Okay, moving on. Trades. As I mentioned, all ages stuff. I love it. Gunland 3. This is the final book of the Gunland series. It's only 3 volumes. I actually read the back matter on this because there was a really cool interview with this Captain Artiglio. He's from Italy. This is his first English work that's been done in English. So I really enjoyed this. I definitely check out more stuff from him. I'm curious if he does more all ages stuff, but this goes to show we should have more all ages books. I'm curious if like a comic shop even just have this on the racks. I don't think they would. I just picked it up because I saw cowboys and guns. And I was like, that looks rad. So really looking forward to that. Batman, The Batman's Crave. So this is a Batman story by Warren Ellis. You'll remember from Planetary, where you have Brian Hitch, who he actually worked with on a book called Authority, which sometimes tied into Planetary, who's also a really amazing artist. So I heard those two guys are doing a Batman book. I was like, I'm all in, but I'm going to wait for the trade, which I did. And I think I kind of overweighted because DC Comics doesn't really print their previews as like a publication I can flip through, like a magazine. It's all done online, so I always forget to check that, and I'm always like behind and trying to find those books. So speaking of which, another DC book, Wonder Woman, Earth 1, Volume 3, final volume in the Wonder Woman Earth 1 series. Earth 1's kind of their, I don't want to say it's like an Ultimates comic take on DC stuff, but it kind of is because it's like tweaking their origins, kind of updating them, but written by Grant Morrison, so I've been enjoying it. It's really good. You get like one of these every year or something, so I think this is the last one though. He's moving on, so, but it's been really fun. Art's been great. Yannick Paquet's awesome. This is an actual book. Well, it's got comics in it, but it's a history of comics, and it's the trailblazing artists, black artists of comic books. What I really love about comic history is like the era of like the heyday, like the 30s and 40s, where there's just like millions, like hundreds of thousands of comics being published every month of like every type of genre you can think of. But because comic books were still seen as like a lesser art form, artists and writers wouldn't use their real names. It's like Stan Lee is actually Stan Lieberman, but he changed his name to Stan Lee because he wouldn't think people to know he was writing comic books. So a lot of like great books are done. There's a lot of great artists. Like there's a lot more women and I guess people of color making books back then, but they just weren't credited. So you have all this stuff that's out there that we just never know who did it. So you can see these characters like the original Blue Beetle, Phantom Lady. Like these are well-known DC characters now, but they started out back then. Nobody knew who they were, and nobody knew who the people that worked on them. So really looking forward to digging into this. I like this kind of stuff. Big book I was really looking forward to, Mike Mignola, Quarantine Sketchbook. So obviously 2020, People were staying at home. Mike Mignola started doing a sketch a day. They sold some of them for charity, which is really good. Obviously, I can't afford those, so I just got the sketchbook that they printed. This is most of his drawings. I know your thoughts on Mike Mignola. You know I love him, so I just a couple of sketches I wanted to show. Gigantor. I know you grew up with like anime in the 80s, so it just looks awesome. But yeah, it's all just pencils. Like, it's really good. Punch and Judy. That's awesome. But in the other one, which really stood out, he did a few He-Man characters, Merman, but that Skeletor, man. That's something I would try just to try and get. I don't know. I think he did a He-Man. There's a He-Man one back here somewhere. Let me flip back here. But yeah, this is every day, just a sketch. There's like vegetable head dudes, Morbius, Devil Dinosaur. Oh yeah, he did the Flintstones. Look, there's Dino, Betty, Barney, Fred. It's great. I'm really looking forward just to sitting back with a cocktail and a leather chair. I don't have either of those, but just sit back and really take this in. The last thing I have to show you, I didn't get with my normal collection. I actually ordered myself Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the original Eastman and Laird. I got 4 volumes. You can see there, book 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the first 12 issues, roughly. Each book is roughly 3 issues, which is crazy. I didn't even realize, like, that's 3 issues. Each of their issues was 40 pages. That's crazy for like an independent book back then, like just 2 guys working on it. But what's really special about this is printing by First Comics. They're the first company to get the license to reprint digital comics and to reprint them in color. Why does that stand out? Because this is before digital printing. These are like the 4th printings, but these are the 80s. So this one was printed in 88, whatever. But because there's no digital digital coloring, they have to go back over the originals and like make copies and then so some of the pages, I kind of wish they kept some of the duotone. That's just like a art thing people use to fill in black. You see duotone in manga a lot, but there's not a lot of duotone, but the colors are just way brighter. That's kind of the problem. If you were to look at some of this stuff now, especially, yeah, this is a famous issue 3, Big Car Chase Through New York. If you see the modern reprints of this, it's so much darker than what you see here, which is a shame. But yeah, this is great. So I got all 4 volumes. Super excited digging that as well. That's everything I got. So as always, send me your cheers, let me know what you think, let me know what to put aside for you, and I'll talk to you soon.